Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This week I will be continuing my body type series and we will be discussing the Gamine body type. If you haven't seen my intro video, I highly recommend that you go check that out. I'll link it down in the description box below so you can watch it and you can kind of get an idea what this system is based off of and the different terms that I may be using in this video. This is going to be a relatively easy video for me to do because I am a Gamine myself. And I have to say, after I discovered that I was a Gamine and I learned about my body type, there were things about my body that I actually used to not like so much, but then after discovering this type, I felt very confident, I felt very happy with who I was. So this kind of is why I'm excited to share these different types with you guys, because it gave me more confidence in who I was and helped me like myself better. And so I want to be able to help other people feel the same way. Now, like I mentioned in my intro video, this body type is going to have two subcategories. These categories are going to be the soft gamine, which is going to be a regular gamine but with a yin undercurrent. And then there is the flamboyant gamine, which is the gamine with a yang undercurrent. So let's get into the different traits of this body type and how you can know if you are a gamine and how you can style yourself if you are a gamine type. The Gamine type generally has very angular and narrow bone structure. Their bone structure can be often described as delicate, and they generally have square shoulders that are narrower, not very broad. They generally have small hands and feet. They usually also have longer arms and legs in proportion to their body. The flamboyant gamine, on the other hand, is going to have a little bit more of a broad bone structure. Their bones are going to be a little bit wider, their shoulders are going to be a little bit broader, and their hands and feet are going to tend to be a little bit wider and sometimes a little bit just larger in general. But they also are going to tend to have longer arms and legs. The soft gamine type is going to have very delicate bone structure, and they're especially going to have a very angular, sharp structured shoulder, collarbones, and that sort of thing. They're generally going to have very small hands and feet, but they're going to tend to be a little bit more fleshy than a normal gamine or a flamboyant gamine. Their arms and legs are also going to be shorter than a flamboyant gamine or regular gamine. Now, the gamine type's body in general is going to tend to be more lean. They're going to have more of a boyish sort of frame. Their musculature is going to be more lean, and their body is going to consist more of like up and down lines rather than curves. They're generally flatter in the bust and hip area, and they're also generally short-waisted. The flamboyant gamine has a little bit more defined musculature, and they tend to be more, they tend to look more strong than just lean. They also are going to have longer legs, but they're probably also going to have a little bit longer torso. The soft gamines are probably the most different. They are going to have a little bit more of that curviness from the romantic body type. They're going to be more defined in the bust and hip area. They're going to be a little bit more fleshy in the thigh and the upper arm area. And they're also going to have a little bit more of a waist definition than a normal gamine would have. Gamines tend to be rather short, so a stereotypical gamine is probably going to be around 5'5" and under. The flamboyant gamines can tend to be a little bit taller, and the soft gamines are especially short in general. Now, the gamine's facial structure is going to be delicate, so their facial bones can tend to be slightly more prominent than other types, but they're not going to be as prominent as the dramatic type. Their features are going to be more delicate than they are going to be dramatic or angular. They're typically going to have larger eyes. They're going to have around about medium fullness to thin lips. The flamboyant gamine's facial structure is definitely going to be broader. The facial bones are going to be slightly more prominent. And then generally their facial structure is going to be longer than a normal gamine would have. They're going to have extremely large eyes, and they're also going to have full lips. The soft gamines' facial features are best described as doll-like. They're going to have large eyes, they're going to have fuller lips, they're also going to have rounder cheeks, and not as much definition in their bone structure. However, some of them may have a more defined or strong jawline. Whenever it comes to styling, there are some keywords to keep in mind whenever you're looking for clothes to fit your body as a gamine type. Generally, the words that come to mind are boyish, doll-like, especially if you're a soft gamine, spunky or cute, energetic. And so generally you want to find clothing that's going to kind of emphasize those things. Gamine types can get away with kind of the boyish clothing, like a nice suit, or like a women's suit, are going to look really, really great on a gamine type because they have that kind of boyish energy to their body. Gamines typically want to look for really well-tailored pieces that are going to fit their body well, not anything overly too tight, but just something that fits well because it's going to define their body really nicely. Gamines can get away with super bold colors because it's going to give off that spunky, fun energy vibe. So looking for pieces that are creative and spunky and fun is something that you're going to want to look for as a gamine. And if you are a soft gamine, especially as I am, you can get away with some of the more dollish type clothes. I don't want to suggest anything that's like overtly childish, but certain things like jumpers or Peter Pan collars and those type of things that are slightly more girlish or childish are things that are going to look really, really great on a soft gamine body type. Some things to stay away from as a gamine: anything with lots of ruffles. Too much feminine frill is just going to not look as great on a gamine type unless you are a soft gamine. Then you could probably get away with that a little bit more. So you are also not going to look as good with too much jewelry on. You're going to want to stick to minimal jewelry as a gamine type. You also want to avoid anything overtly bohemian, especially in the sense of something that's just an outfit that's super loose all over, because it's just going to swallow your frame, especially since the gamines tend to be very small and dollish in stature, which is why you're going to want to look for pieces that are more tailored. Also avoid going for anything that's too overtly elegant, because you have definitely more of the cutesy or the boyish vibe and the spunky vibe about you. So anything that's just overtly like womanly or elegant is just not going to fit the energy that your body gives off. But all this to say, just like I said in my last video, fashion is for fun and it's for expressing yourself. So these are just ideas and things to keep in mind whenever picking out clothes for your body type. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and leave me a comment down below. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. I will see you guys soon in the next video. Bye-bye.